Day with Reality Shifters by Anthony Padilla.
Reality shifting, a phenomenon in which a person actively projects their consciousness from their current reality to another through numerous techniques, usually involving some combination of deep focus and manifestation. The sudden rise in reality shifting can likely be attributed to viral TikToks, such as ones labeled with hashtag Draco Malfoy, which in total has almost 20 billion views. Amidst wholesome Harry Potter fan edits, numerous videos explain how people can literally be with Draco Malfoy at Hogwarts through reality shifting. But shifters aren't limited to fictional locations and can experience any desired reality of their choosing. As this trend continues, the hashtag reality shifting specifically has garnered almost 400 million views on its own. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today—
Wait, this person said, oh shit. Someone in the chat is unironically defending shifting and said, well, how do you know what's real and what's not? Okay. We live on a floating ball. Like, how do you know what's real and what's not real? It's like, it's over, dude. It's done. They're right.
Today, I'm going to be sitting down with reality shifters to learn the truth about this elusive and often controversial practice. Is reality shifting a truly revolutionary mentality that has the potential to shape the way humanity experiences consciousness forever? Or is it nothing more than deeply vivid imagination, or just a trendier version of the ancient art of self-induced lucid dreaming? Hello, Cam.
Hi.
Daniel.
Hi, Anthony. How's it going?
Kristen.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on here and teaching me about the world of reality shifting.
A real pleasure, thank you.
What do you consider yourself? A reality shifter? Someone who understands the concept of projecting your consciousness?
I would consider myself a shifter.
For reality shifter.
My background is something called lucid dreaming. Now, lucid dreaming is the ability to know that you're dreaming while dreaming.
Are you comfortable referring to yourself as a reality shifter? Or do you think that's they're different things?
I certainly don't have any issue with the terminology. I know that reality shifting has become a really popular phrase recently, and anything that gets people thinking about the mind and how the mind works, I'm all for.
What does reality shifting entail in general?
The belief that the multiverse is real. There are nearly an infinite amount of realities, and we're just choosing which one we want to experience.
It's essentially taking your consciousness and shifting, literally shifting it to another reality. That reality could be like anything that you've envisioned, or it could be actual realities like Hogwarts or Narnia.
So really the experience is a lot like falling asleep consciously. It's basically you're bringing your awareness along for the ride. Fall into a dream and then suddenly realize, oh, this is a dream, I can control it.
The problem is, like, why don't they realize that it's not real? Like, someone else literally thought this up. It is a fabrication. It is something that another human being thought up, imagined, made up. Why can't they recognize that? That's what's like a little concerning about this entire thing. Like, how do you not realize that this is not a real thing? Please explain to me how you don't recognize that this is... It's frustrating me a little bit. Like, do they not realize that is like someone else conjured this universe up in their mind? Or do they think that that person also shifted to a different plane? And that's how they like wrote the universe or something.
And I would live out all of my childhood wishes, flying into space. That was the main one, really.
Is there more than one method to shift?
There are two main divisions. There's sleeping methods and awake methods. Sleeping methods are methods that you use when you're like planning to go to sleep and then shift during. Awake methods are methods that you do when you're awake and you're conscious, so that you shift while you're conscious.
Some of the more popular methods would be the Raven method, the Sunny method, the lucid dreaming method. A lot of those are just kind of waiting until you reach that state in between consciousness and unconsciousness, and then setting the intent to shift. I am most familiar with the Raven method. It's where you lay on your back in starfish pose, you count to 100. During those countings, you make sure you're affirming, you're visualizing where you want to go, and then at 100, you're done kind of with the method. You just set the intention you're going to shift, you fall asleep, and when you wake up, you're there.
The best approach is to build up this sort of critical thinking about the world around you. Any strange events are suddenly a cue to step back and think, oh, this could be a dream.
Just do drugs, forehead. Like, the fuck? Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
And then you can do what's called a reality test. Now, a really simple one is you pinch your nose and you try to breathe through your pinched nose.
Okay, I'll try it right now. It made my ears tighten up and made me feel like I wanted to die.
But you couldn't breathe through it, right?
Correct. My lungs were about to collapse.
But if you were dreaming, you'd be able to breathe through your pinched nose, because what you'd be pinching is an imagined nose. So if you make this a regular habit, then eventually you'll do this in a dream, and then you'll breathe through the pinched nose. You go, I'm dreaming. And then once you know that you're dreaming, that you're in a universe of the mind where you're essentially the creator of that world and anything is possible.
Can you describe what process works for you and what that feels like?
So what I do is that you write out your script, you read it a couple times, you put it under your pillow, and you just go to sleep saying affirmations. And I mix it with the Estelle method.
Bro, I can't do lucid dreaming at all. Sometimes when I've had like when I have gas because I ate something and it makes it harder to breathe, when I'm dreaming, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting choked. And I know it's because I have gas. Okay? And like I can't even get out of the dream to be like, I need to be able to breathe. So I can't even control shit when I know it's a fucking dream. And I start breathing normally. You know what I mean? Within the dream. And it's literally because I just have gas. Yes, gas can actually make you feel like you're having a heart attack sometimes. It's really fucked up. So respect to all the lucid dreamers. Okay? But you're not dreaming that there's a top of the hour ad break coming right now. That is the reality. Now, of course, there is a way to avoid the reality there. Or rather manage it. You can't actually like dream away the ad break because it's coming regardless. Oh, I took off streaming for one day and this is what I missed the most. Now the way to shift out of seeing ad breaks is by subscribing. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can shift out of seeing ads with a VPN or an ad block. But here's the ad break now. I know for a fact that you're scum and that's reality. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm just running an ad as is my contractual obligation. What the fuck? This guy's like, you're fucking scum, dude.
You envision yourself dancing with the person. When the music ends, that person leads you to like a door and they ask, are you ready? I say yes. I'll basically open the door and you'll be there. That's what it feels like.
Can you describe what scripting is?
Setting the parameters of the universe you want to go to. So you can script being in relationships. You can script the type of house you have. You can script what classes you're taking. Or you can just set it to a universe that you're already aware of, something like Harry Potter, Doctor Who, Marvel. It's not making a reality. It's just deciding which one you want to focus on.
How do you feel about scripts that are kind of pre-written online with like fill in the blank gaps.
Well, I think whatever works for you, whatever helps you define it best, I'm 100% okay with it. You don't even have to script if you don't want to. It just is you specifically choosing. I guess you could kind of let it roulette wheel and just let your subconscious decide where you're going to end up. That sounds a bit scary, but people do it. I've heard of people ending up in Attack on Titan, and it freaks me out a little bit.
No thanks. That's already too scary to watch anyway. Horrified. I actually printed out one of the fill-in-the-blank scripts, so I wanted to get your opinion on how you think this would work, and if you think it would work. Okay. So this one is for the Marvel universe, and it starts with, my name is blank, my superpowers are blank, I am from blank, insert planet name, I am healthy, I cannot get sick, I cannot die or incur any major harm, nothing I encounter will traumatize me. I'm gonna script that into my own physical current reality.
I don't
Dude, what the fuck? Dude, we are so fragile. I mean, human beings have always been fragile, but God damn, maybe I am becoming a conservative, dude. I unironically feel like we're extra fragile now. Like, even when you're daydreaming, you have to put a fucking contractual obligation into the daydream that, like, you know, you cannot be traumatized by it. You know what I mean? Like, what you see in that daydream. We've broken this planet, dude. There's no shot that this is... Please tell me that this is not something all Zoomers believe in. Motherfucker, just because I said contractual obligation doesn't mean I'm running a ad. Okay, chill. I already ran it.
personally believe you can script out things like trauma or getting too attached. I think if you come back to your reality, even
like, why can't it just be daydreaming? I will never understand why it can't just be daydreaming. Like, it actually has to be going to a reality that you yourself have scripted. It's just daydreaming.
if you've scripted that, or that you don't get too attached and you think more on it and suddenly everything hits you at once, that script isn't going to help you.
So do you feel like this kind of would invalidate the entire script, or do you think that some people might add in details that just they cannot control?
The script is perfectly fine, and honestly, if people want to script that, it just means they won't be traumatized there or feel any sort of trauma there, and that's all fine and good as well if you just want to have a chill time.
Can you show us any of the scripts that you've written?
This one is for My Hero Academia. My name...
Oh my god! Oh no, dude! She scripted My Hero Academia.
Is like Lilith Phantom Hive.
Good one. Good one.
The other things that I would script would be like health-wise, I'm okay. I can't get permanently injured. I sleep well. I have unlimited money. I want to be able to eat as much food as I want, so I need money.
Yeah. So do you say that you...
Damn, that's kind of sad, dude. It's sad because, like, these are things that obviously she wishes in the real world, right? She was to have in the real world. So she's just, like, you know, daydreaming about it in her fantasy. It's also kind of sad that, like, even in her fantasy, she has to have unlimited money so she can eat all the food that she wants to eat. Capitalism has not been scripted out of the daydream. I'm scripting a universe where, you know, I have an accountant and he doesn't fuck me over and I'm paying my taxes. And also on top of that, like, if I get injured, I can get healthcare for free. Okay. And I can actually buy a house. And you know, I'm just scripting that. Like, I'm not constantly thinking about medical debt. Okay.
You will remain healthy no matter how much food you eat?
Yes, I can't gain weight, so we're good.
Do you alter your physical appearance and like what you're capable of?
Yes, I make myself taller. I usually make myself like buffer because I'm like, I'm gonna get ready to throw some hands if anyone tries anything.
This all sounds way easier than working out and getting plastic surgery.
Why do that when I can just shift realities?
Before we continue learning about the world of reality shifting,
I definitely think that these realities are realities that already exist. All
Dude, what the fuck? No, they don't. You scripted it.
we're doing is tapping into our own power that allows us to go to those realities. I believe that there are infinite versions of ourselves within each of those universes.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, ExpressVPN, for our continued partnership that allows us to continue this series.
He's like with an Express VPN, you can script yourself into another country in order to avoid ad breaks on the Hasanabi broadcast. It's a lot like scripting, where you make it seem like you're actually in the United States if you're a Turkish person, and porn has been scripted out of existence in your country because of a religious, hyper-conservative, authoritarian regime.
Anywhere in the world, so you can watch everything you don't usually have access to in your region. So let's say you are interested in dabbling in reality shifting and you want a little inspiration by rewatching the most incredible back to the world of reality shifting. When did you first shift and what was that like?
I recall a wake-initiated lucid dream, so falling asleep consciously, being in bed and then falling backwards through a tunnel.
Kind of like the scene in Get Out. He was just like in a black void falling.
Oddly enough, when I ended up in the dream or the shift, I was back in my bed, thought I'd just woken up, but it was actually a dream, and then I looked out the window and there was a giant rainbow fish just flying through the sky.
Magnificent.
Like, okay, so this is definitely
Absolutely diabolical.
not waking reality.
Okay, the other people are kids. What's this dude's excuse? I mean, he does have a piercing right there, so that's like automatically, I mean, that's an interesting piercing, you know what I mean? Like, this is not gonna be like a normal dude. No disrespect if you have that piercing. But, you know, kind of an odd piercing to have.
At this point, I flew around a bit. I didn't do anything. I was about to say didn't do anything too exciting, but I was flying.
I just flew around with my mind. Nothing too special.
I decided to not do any methods. I was just tired, right? So I went to sleep and I woke up just thinking I'd be in my room. But I wasn't in my room. I was in someone completely different, and that's why I thought I got kidnapped.
So this was a scary experience then.
I woke up in the bedroom that I scripted I'd wake up, but I didn't really understand that that was the bedroom. All I knew is that I wasn't in my original room.
How often do you shift?
I usually shift once every month or every 2 months.
Okay, so it's actually a lot more rare than I think some people would imagine it to be.
I cannot physically deal with 2 lives at the same time.
Maybe 2 to 3 times a week would be my yearly average.
And what's your favorite kind of reality to experience?
I used to be I still am a massive fan of the Star Trek universe. In the Star Trek universe, they have the holodeck, which is basically their version of virtual reality. So it's a computer program, you go in and you can create anything. Well, I dream of going to the Star Trek universe, go into the holodeck, and then I can immediately go anywhere because
There's
it's all
multiple
computer-generated.
steps, but it like allows you to kind of experience the infinite universe.
Half of the problem with controlling these situations is believing it's possible. We have these deep expectations that that's how the world works. So when you're
Never mind. He's just a lucid dreamer. I thought he was a shifter too. Right? He's not saying it's shifting. He's saying it's fucking lucid dreaming. Right? Am I misunderstanding?
dreaming, your mind essentially goes, well, these rules still apply.
But it seems like it'd be easy to tell yourself that you're going to this different place where this is the reality.
Exactly. And that's something which I call reframing. So you reframe your expectations in a new way.
Do these alternate realities actually exist in
He's a lucid dreamer, not a shifter. This is coming from a shifter. You won't listen, but you shit on us? Please listen to me. I can explain. I don't like saying shifting realities because I believe that it's going into some state where we become a creator to something that already was there. And that's not how I describe it. And it's not dreaming at all. It's way above it's realistic. Look, I don't mean to shit on you, but I do recommend seeing a therapist about this. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, that person's not. I don't think they're baiting, but I highly recommend talking to a therapist about this, especially if you're like around 26, like in that age range, like And no, I don't mean. Be careful. You might be scripting a reality now, but you're just shifting all of us with you. You're playing with your powers you don't understand. Yeah, shift the reality where you have a therapist, I think. What if I'm shifting right now and I'm unaware of it? What if we have all shifted into our realities? What if you, the Twitch chatter right now that's watching, shifted this entire universe and you forgot that you shifted this entire universe and you're literally living inside of it when in fact you're actually living in a different universe where you're asleep? I think I just broke like at least a healthy 100 people's brains just now. I'm sorry. I was just kidding.
Infinite universe, or is it more so something that you just conjure up in your mind?
I definitely think that these realities are realities that already exist. All we're doing is tapping into
You're
our
becoming
own
an
power
R-atheism, Andy, but for reality shifting? I mean, yes, I am.
that allows us to go to those realities. I believe that there are infinite versions of ourselves. So all we have to do is just make sure that our consciousness gets.
I'm an R/atheism, Andy, for religion too. It's just that I'm much more understanding of people who do stuff like this as it pertains to organized religion.
there.
They're already there, very much like the
I prefaced this entire conversation around this is the exact same thing that people do with organized religion. And I think that a lot of these people with like astral planes and shifting and stuff like that literally went to this direction as a consequence of organized religion not being as prominent and not being as like ripe for indoctrination in Western countries like the United States. And that's why a lot of these like younger people gravitate towards this sort of stuff. So yeah, I think it's the exact same thing.
DC or Marvel multiverse that you would see. With each separate decision we make, it branches off into a separate reality. So while there aren't technically an infinite amount, it is a number I couldn't even begin to say.
As many stars as there are in the universe, which is more than the amount of grains of sand that there are on Earth.
Yeah, I would say possibly even more than that. Actually, it's stupid.
Are there any other big experiences that stand out to you?
In everything from conscious stars that I've communicated with to walking around amongst the ants and sort of experiencing their world. It's just the more you do, the more creative you get, the braver you get with it. And then you start doing things like stepping in front of traffic or it's fascinating to see how your mind deals with its assumption that it's going to cease to be, and then it creates a model of what the afterlife would be like.
The human brain is not capable of imagining it ceasing to exist. It's just not. So when you experience these things in a different realm or reality or in a dream, it kind of goes on to create other parts of you because it can't imagine not existing at all.
The nearest I can get to explaining what nothingness is trying to remember before you were born, and even then your brain tries to fill in the gaps.
How did you first learn about reality shifting?
Maybe 2014, 2015. I learned about it from like a Reddit post about like shifting realities, but they didn't go
That's it, dude. I mean, listen, how much further would society go if we banned Reddit? Just think about that. Like, that's what I want to shift into a reality where like Reddit doesn't exist. Because I feel like it would eliminate a fuckload of harm that it has caused on the younger generation.
too much into detail. It was only last year around August that I was on TikTok and someone was talking about it. But when they were explaining it, I thought it was like absolute bullshit, right?
I mean, it sounds like bullshit. It does, you know, without going deeper into it.
Bullshit, but I kind of believed it, so.
Do you feel like reality shifting can be a healthy coping mechanism for people who are struggling with real life issues?
I think it's good as a coping mechanism, but I don't think that they should rely on it too much. Your entire life will begin to revolve around shifting, and the more that you can't do it, or the more that you feel like you're being held back, the more depressed and the more angry you're going to get, and the more miserable you're going to get.
How do you feel coming back to your current reality after going to these different worlds?
Refreshing, exciting, exhilarating.
Really? It doesn't feel boring or like you're experiencing less than what you're capable of experiencing?
If you believe you're going elsewhere, then there's this kind of sense of missing out, of jealousy, of loss. So if you're concluding that, then you might lead yourself into a slightly unhealthy mindset. If you conclude that the places you're visiting are the product of the mind, when you come back, you're exhilarated that you've done something so amazing. And once you realize that you can paint a universe with your mind and it feels entirely convincing, coming back from that doesn't diminish you. It expands your sense of pride.
This guy's a surprisingly healthy attitude about lucid dreaming. I can see how it would get out of hand for a lot of people, for the average user of reality shifting / whatever lucid dreaming, but this guy's the Martin Luther of reality shifting.
Pride and wonder.
I've read some in-depth pages from people who take reality shifting very seriously, warning against bringing pets into your desired reality, because they warn, you know, you have to be able to account for the amount of time and attention that
People think that like they can write stuff like that in the chat and get away with it. Like, you're gonna get a fucking visit from the FBI, dog. Don't say dumb shit.
they require. And you have to have a veterinarian picked out. You need to be like prepared to take care of them if they're ever in danger. How deep does this all go? Does that seem like something that aligns with the way that everyone views reality shifting?
The belief in the community is that every reality is equally as real and valid as this one. They're completely
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, that's what I mean. It's like, dude, Zoomers, stop with this. Just like every feeling isn't valid either, okay? It's so hyper individualistic and so narcissistic to assume that like all feelings are valid. All opinions need to be listened to. The daydreaming lucid environment that you've created in your own brain is like a real universe. You are trying to recreate IP that someone else conjured up in their own minds and go into that universe, okay? Do not shift. I'm gonna shift.
completely real people with completely real feelings and experiences. That's why we don't encourage like going around and killing people. Like we don't encourage anything that you wouldn't do here.
So it's not like this fantasy land where people have god powers and can do whatever they want with no consequences.
I mean, I guess it could be if you want to script that, but generally no, everything has consequences.
What?
Have you ever experienced anything that made you feel uncomfortable in any of these realities?
Yes, definitely. Because in my desired reality, there are a lot of people that are after me. And I don't script that. Like, just how there's like harassment in this world, I've faced harassment in my desired reality, which is super uncomfortable.
Can you feel pain? Can you die? I mean, can you get stuck?
You cannot get stuck. There's no way you can ever get stuck. That makes no damn sense, okay? Like, what are you trying to pull here?
I mean, although we could go down the path of like, if there's infinite possibilities and there is the possibility that there is a world where that does exist.
Yeah, it is
so
possible.
maybe, you know, does that kind of break down your theories at all?
Like when we, a little bit, but, that makes complete sense what you're saying. But I highly doubt you're going to shift.
Wait, did he just, oh fuck, I missed it.
Kind of break down your theories at all?
Like when we,
is
Trying to pull here.
I mean, although we could go down the path of like if there's infinite possibilities and there is the possibility that there is a world where that does exist.
Yeah, it is
so
possible.
maybe, does that kind of break down your theories at all?
Like when we, a little bit, but, that makes complete sense what you're saying. But I highly doubt you're going to shift, like, to be in that reality.
Do you think there's a risk of ever wanting to stay in your altered state forever?
Oh yeah, and that's one of the reasons I'm so hesitant to condone minor shifting, especially if you're trying to escape from something here, because shifting is a form of escapism. If you're in a horrible situation here and you go over there and it's just euphoric, it's all fun and games, yeah, you're gonna want to stay.
It sounds like in many ways it kind of runs parallel with substance abuse.
It can be very hard not to get severely attached to that. And I would recommend keeping something here that you can only have here, so that you don't feel the need to stay there.
Before we continue learning even more about the world of reality shifting, I wanted to take another moment to thank our sponsor, or Speak, which is why we're sponsored.
God damn, he's like, hey man, if you're getting too far into reality shifting, here's a word from our sponsors at BetterHelp. If you go to BetterHelp and use code Padilla, you can at least get some kind of therapy, dude.
Like everything that anyone does that
I'll be
brings
back.
anyone joy, the reality shifting community has faced its own fair share of criticism and just hate from the outside. Why do you think that is?
Just because of the closed-mindedness that a lot of people have. It's a hard concept to grasp, like I said. A lot of people think that it's fake and it's just people using their imaginations to escape from, the hard reality, and there's only just this reality and we're just trying to escape it.
Why do you think this has all gained so much popularity in the past few months or years?
Shows like Rick and Morty that explore the concept of multiple dimensions, platforms such as TikTok have allowed ideas to spread so much quicker. The
Yes, Rick and Morty has rotted the brains of our youth.
unfortunate, strange times we're living through, people are more prone to want to be somewhere else. We're all feeling very pent up at the moment. So I think the combination of all of those events has just led to this explosion of, well, this reality kind of sucks at the moment. Let's explore what else is available.
What would you say to anyone in the comments right now shaming reality shifting as a concept in general?
We're human. We have feelings, we have opinions, and this is something we choose to believe in. And I don't think we should be shamed for that. We're not hurting anybody with it. We're not hurting ourselves. Shifting has given a purpose to a lot of our community.
Can you recognize when someone is faking that they can reality shift?
Definitely. There are some stories and I'm like, no, Hermione did not just get up and start twerking when she got a question right. Are you for real?
But I mean, that does beg the question, if the universe really is infinite and there are infinite realities, doesn't that imply that that is a reality that does
It is
exist
a reality,
there?
but I highly doubt that they went to a reality where Hermione is twerking.
But I mean, how could you discount someone for having that experience when the discussion was just about how everyone has their own reality and it's impossible to know if someone's reality was real or not because it's impossible to prove?
If you allow things that are really far-fetched to just fester, it discredits everything.
But the concept of reality shifting in general is pretty far-fetched, as
Yeah,
you
it is
mentioned.
pretty far-fetched, but compared to some of the things I hear,
Anthony is just rolling her, dude. He's literally like, he caught one. He's not gonna let this one slide, He's just like, nope. You need to shift into a reality where her frame is not absolutely demolished.
it sounds like some facts.
The whole concept in general is saying that anything is possible. Don't judge people for
Yeah.
what they experience. So it does seem kind of like it's like, where is the line drawn?
I know when we say like shifting realities, you can go anywhere, do anything. Your imagination is literally the limit. But I'd like to say that some of the things that happen in this reality and some of the rules and the laws follow no matter where we go.
I'm sure that's just as up for debate as the concept of reality shifting in general.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I saw a post from someone fervently demanding that lucid dreaming and reality shifting are two extremely different things and should never be compared, and anyone who does should be chastised in some way. And there were comments on there saying things like queen and poggers.
Okay, fuck it. I'm putting Twitch on there too. And the long list of websites that have broken the brain of our youth. Yes, I think Twitch is also one of those fucking websites, dude.
And, you know, just completely agreeing with these things. How do you feel about the idea that some people are, for lack of a better term, gatekeeping and wanting to separate these two ideas and not wanting to see any mesh between them?
I think we want to believe it. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel like there's more to life than this. It makes me feel like I'm not stuck. And hearing that they are stuck is a source of frustration.
I don't think anyone wants to be told, oh, it was just in your head, if they really truly want to believe and have believed for any extended period of time that it was and is a reality.
It's like being told your friends aren't real, or your family isn't real, or your memories aren't real. It invalidates you. It invalidates those experiences.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about reality shifting?
That it's an incredibly easy thing to do. And it requires dedication, effort, the development of knowledge. If you wanted to be a concert pianist, you'd realize that it's going to take you a while to get there. You might be able to play a few tunes after a few months, but if you really want to do it.
Does this guy like sell lucid dreaming coaching or something? Like, he's like pretty fucking knowledgeable, relatively tame with his opinions. It strikes me as like someone who, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like he looks like Austin in 10 years. A shift grift.
It. I mean, as with all things in life, if you dedicate yourself, you'll get there. And once you realize you can achieve that, you realize you can achieve almost anything.
All right, you got 5 seconds to shout out or promote anything you want directly into camera. Go.
Snowing Soul on TikTok. Check me out. I talk about reality shifting, or I don't.
If you want to learn lucid dreaming or reality shifting, pop over to Lucid Dream Portal here on YouTube.
If you like paranormal psychology and the metaphysical world, just follow me at my channel on Christo.
Subscribe to Anthony. Do it.
Or you will reality shift into a reality that you are a part of.
Subscribed anyways.
Subscribe
Sorry.
anyways.
There are always more psychologically immoderate and more spiritual people in these kinds of communities that are on the edge of spirituality and psychology. I shifted for the first time last night to Hogwarts. How I did it in 5 days. Very detailed. This was 7 months ago. Overview. I stopped watching TikTok as a source for information. I stopped using a method. What? How are you going to go from something so brilliant and insightful as a thing to say, like, I stopped going to TikTok for a source of information, to literally going into, but I also learned how to fucking shift super hard. Bro, I saw you at the Euros. Glad you had fun, in my opinion. Yeah, dude, that was me. I'm a big fan of the Swiss team. I have a reality where I'm a famous streamer and I have powers and I live with Nick and Milena and Soda, and tomorrow you'll be visiting us. There, it's May 27th, I guess. Dude, okay, you gotta get therapy, dude. What the fuck? What? Definitely, I mean... Oh, if you live in Saudi Arabia, then yeah, it's not gonna... Never mind. It's bait? You think it's bait? I don't know if it's bait. Is it? They're saying like some fucked up shit. I'm not baiting. I live in Saudi Arabia and I'm transgender and shifting is the only way for me to escape from here, Sag. I swear on everything. Dude, that's not funny, dude. Well, you said invalidating my religious belief in shifting Pogo tomato time. Like, that's like... That was crazy. A bug fell on my head or something. Maybe it was my hair. I don't know. Down the rabbit hole. Harry Potter and the shifting TikTokers.